Hi guys. Okay, so this week for my reading, I read Have You Seen My Dragon? It's by Steve Light, and he's also the illustrator. The publisher is Candlewick. It was published in 2014. It's a picture book that has approximately 48 pages, and the best age is probably 3 to 6 years old. This story is about a little boy living in the city who has lost his pet dragon. The boy is wandering around asking everybody he can think of, going everywhere to see if they've seen his dragon, but he's always one step behind the dragon. The dragon's always a little bit in front of him in the illustrations. Throughout the book, the boy goes all over, but ultimately he realizes that the dragon's probably where he left it in Chinatown, and that's where he finds his dragon. The illustrations throughout the book are in black and white, but in each page, or set of pages, there are colorful objects on the page, and they are meant to be counted by the reader. It tells you what the object is and how many, and then there's a box that says how many you're counting for. And so it makes it easy for the reader to identify those objects and to count them because they are in color and the rest of the pages are in black and white. The book also begins and ends with a map of the city. By the end, the map has lots of colors and numbers on it, and it kind of has a route drawn out of it, and it shows everywhere the boy went, everything he saw, and the things he counted. And I think that's really fun for kids at the end of the book because they get to see this adventure they went on with him as he was trying to find his dragon. The theme of this book has to do with adventure. The boy went all around the city on an adventure looking for his dragon, which is what he needed. But in the end, it was right in front of him all along. Sometimes we go all over looking for something that we think we need, and it's always right in front of us. And so I think that's something that children can kind of relate to. This book is good for children because it's an easy read, and I really love the counting aspect that it involves and the simplicity of the counting. The illustrations are very detailed, and that's something that maybe a younger child may not realize or appreciate, but as you get older and you read through it, and even as an adult, you can see in the images these the great detail in it to them. Like in the city buildings, they're representative of a New York downtown building, and there are aspects that you would actually see if you were in downtown New York, and I think that's really cool. The book also showcases a little bit of history with those old buildings because some of the things that Steve Light drew are very historical and they have a story behind them, so we could touch base with the reader on that and they could kind of learn a little bit of history along with that. This could be a useful lesson for children because even though the boy searches everywhere for his dragon, it was right where he left it, and I think sometimes children experience this as well. Sometimes we're looking all over for something. Even I as an adult do this. I'm looking for my phone that's right in my hand. They're looking for maybe a book that they had that they set down somewhere, and all along it's just right where they left it. They just have too much going. We have too much going on to realize that. So always remember to look in the last place you had something because it most likely is there. So for my activity, I wanted to create a memory game with the images that are counted in the story. And so 20 images were counted. And so I would want to have at least 2 cards per item. One would have the picture that's in the book and the other would have the name of the object. And you could flip them all face down for the student. And they could work, you could do 10 or 20 at a time maybe, and then they could work their way up to doing all. Because there would be a total of 40 cards and that would be kind of a lot to start with. But then they can flip them over, and if it's an ice cream cone, then they are looking for the other card that says ice cream cone. And so that way, they have to memorize also where they're at in the thing, but recognize what their picture is and what the words say. So I think it kind of ties a lot of good aspects in together. So that was my book. Thanks, guys.